Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again. I am coming to you today from my craft room, probably the worst light ever, but I'm not a beauty blogger, so it doesn't matter. Many of us who have dealt with narcissists, raised by one, married to one, had one in our lives longer than they should have been, often wonder, how do they seemingly go through life and, basically skip through what they do never affects them. They just run around hurting people, conniving, manipulating, being themselves, and they get away with it. The question always comes up, when are they going to get theirs? When's karma going to take care of them? I believe there's a part of us all as human beings who want to see them get their just desserts. I personally don't wish anything bad on anybody. I don't wish anyone ill will. I don't think that it's a very sound practice, in my opinion, but to each his own. And I feel, especially based on some experience, and if you've read the book, you know about some things that happened and they just sort of took care of themselves, that, I firmly believe just being a narcissist is punishment in itself. I think that I know that they are miserable people. They have deep-seated issues. They go through life unhappy and envious and never feeling complete, never feeling whole, never loving and being loved the way normal people like us can and do. So to me, just being a narcissist is punishment in itself. They do get their just desserts. I've seen it happen and I've heard of other instances. And so one of them that was recently shared with me was a comment on one of my videos. And you don't have to go searching for it because I'm going to share it right now because she gave me permission to do so. So this woman was married to a narcissist. I believe it was 18 years, maybe longer. And he was just ruthless, rotten, unfeeling, uncaring. She went through some very difficult things in her life, lost her brother very suddenly, very violently. Following the service, they stopped somewhere to eat. And just as she was about to eat, she just burst into tears. And he was like, "What's wrong with you? I mean, really? What's wrong with you? I just buried my brother." So just very unfeeling, unsympathetic. I know exactly what that's like. Just awful. And so years later, she lost her very best friend in the whole wide world. And he callously delivered this news to her. She was on her way into the house and she was carrying groceries, had her hands full, and he passed her on his way out and said, so-and-so's dead. The news was devastating. The way he delivered it was devastating. His callousness, his heartlessness, the fact that this woman was her best friend in the whole wide world, and this is how he broke the news to her. I mean, many of you know, if you're watching this, you deal with a narcissist or have dealt with a narcissist, you know that's who they are. That's how they are. They don't care. Us losing someone, losing a life, losing someone who's close to you, that just doesn't mean anything to them. They're like, whatever. And for us, feeling, caring, loving people, when we lose someone, it's devastating. And so that was how he delivered that news to her. Unfortunately, her very dear friend was driving home late at night and into a tree in her car, and the impact killed her. She shared this news, shared the way he delivered it, shared the way he reacted after the service when she had just laid her brother to rest, and went on to say that a number of years later, her loving narcissist husband ran into a tree and died. Same way, in a vehicle, ran into a tree and it killed him. And she went on to be alone, live alone, and raise her 2 children without him. It's a terrible loss for those children. Maybe not. Losing a life, again, as a normal, caring, feeling person, losing a life and losing a loved one is always devastating. But this woman saw this as a rather mixed blessing, like as some sort of reprieve from being with this horrible person. And the irony of him dying the way her best friend died, the way he so callously told her about that accident. It just makes you want to be a good person. Don't be a narcissist. Don't be a jerk. I firmly believe that what you put out into the world is what you're going to get back. You can call it karma. You can call it fate, depending on where you're at, either religiously or spiritually. Whatever name you give it, no one, I don't believe anyone escapes it. I believe in fate. I believe that everything in our lives happens for a reason. I accept all of the bad in my life because it's brought me to where I am now, to the good, to a wonderful, loving marriage and relationship. It's brought me here to bring this channel to you. This channel has opened doors to some relationships with people that I feel have been a blessing to me. They stumbled onto the channel, they stumbled onto the page, whatever it may have been, and they were or are perhaps in an unfortunate situation the way I used to be, and they're working their way out, or they're no longer there, or whatever is happening in their lives. And I'm forging relationships with some really wonderful people because of this channel. Good and bad, everything in our lives happens for a reason. Again, I call it fate, and we accept it. Everything you put out in the world is going to make its way back to you. And that was a eye-popping example of that. And she was gracious enough to let me share it. And yeah, I do believe that they get their just desserts. I know that we're not, maybe some of us are maybe not privy to it. Maybe you're not around to see it. I know that it would bring some real satisfaction to witness it. I've witnessed some of it from afar. It's unfortunate. Is there satisfaction in it? Sure, you know. What goes around comes around. But do I sit around worrying about it, wishing it, hoping? No, I don't. I don't, because I just don't even give them that much of my energy anymore. I have to put too much into healing because I'm still working on that too. So I just thought I'd share that story with you. You know, if you have a story like that to share, feel free to drop it. Email it to me. Let me know. They don't just run around and walk the earth and treat people like doormats and get away with it. And in the end, I think it catches up with all of them, because in the end, no one can stand them. In the end, no one wants to be around them. I think in the end, to my knowledge, and the stories that have been shared with me, anyone who was or is narcissistic and treats their family, their spouses, girlfriends, boyfriends, wives, you know, daughters, family, whoever, when they run around and treat them like dirt like that, they end up very isolated and very alone in the end, because they only get worse as they get older and no one can stand to be around them. That's it for today. Like I said, she was gracious enough to let me share that story, so I thought I would. I think that it's one less thing to think about. It's one less thing to concern yourself with. Will they get their just desserts? I firmly believe they do and will. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I will be back again very soon with another video. Ciao for now.